Oh no.
I told you to go. I'm paying you by the hour. Go.
I said, oh no. What do you mean go? What do you want me to say? Welcome to AmityCast?
Our table. It's
We're not
broken.
doing we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
Oh no. Ellis's sanity. It's broken.
Yeah, so funny.
It's really
Anyways,
not. Can we get F's in the chat?
Welcome to AmityCast. Welcome. uh, Thanks for being here if you're listening. Gonna have a fun conversation today. I'm pretty excited. Matthew, how you doing?
Good. A lot of
All right, well,
exciting.
that's boring. That's boring. So today we'll be discussing Pixar in general. We'll probably go through some of the Pixar films, talk about some of our favorites. I know we've already discussed a couple in the past. We talked about The Incredibles. Was that last week? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it was
Might have been
last
last
week, I
week.
think. I don't.
Uh,
Wait, was it?
that's what I'm thinking. Like, that's what I'm trying to remember. Was it last week? I think it was, but
Let me look, because I'm honestly having a midlife crisis right now.
and just not too long ago, we had a new Pixar film release, the new Turning Red. So, Matthew hasn't seen it. I have seen it, so we'll probably get to that a little bit later on since it is the newest. But so Matthew, off the top of your head, what is your favorite Pixar film?
Let me go to the list. I don't remember every single one. Obviously not Cars 2. 25 movies. I've seen like maybe 15.
Yeah, yeah. There's 25 now.
There's so many good ones.
There are. There's some there's all time greats. Like animated movies
Their
out
last
there.
probably like amazing film wasn't made since 2010. So there's that. Wait, they followed Toy Story 3 of Cars 2. What a fucking downgrade. Oh my Christ. And then followed by Brave and Monsters University. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. How did Pixar how'd they recover?
Well, I wouldn't say that they fully recovered.
I actually haven't seen Brave, so I can't say if it's bad.
You haven't seen Brave? It's pretty bad.
I heard The Good Dinosaur's ass.
But hey, after MU, Monsters University, they had Inside Out, which is pretty good. Like, I really love it for what it is, and it's not like that great. I think it's great, but obviously, like, it isn't perfect. I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I really enjoy Inside Out. It's really good. Then there's The Good Dinosaur, and then like Finding Dory, then like Cars 3, which is like a really bad 3-movie stretch. And then I had Coco, which is a really good movie. So
I had to watch that movie in Spanish because I was in Spanish class. So I honestly I couldn't understand what was being said through like 70% of the movie. So
it's really unfortunate because it's a good movie.
Incredibles 2 is one of the worst films ever made. Toy Story 4 is good. Onward's I'm just kidding. I didn't see Onward or Soul or Luca or Turning Red. I actually haven't seen any Pixar film since Toy Story 4. So it's been like 3 years.
Yeah, you missed out on quite a few.
Onward did not interest me. Luca did not interest me. Turning Red did not interest me. Soul kind of interested me, but I just never got around to watching it. Then they have Lightyear, which I don't know if I'm interested in that.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, I'll go see it. I've seen every Pixar film.
Their next movie after Lightyear is an untitled My Little Pony movie.
What?
And then an untitled film about dogs. That's the title. An untitled film about dogs.
Wait, what? Wait, what?
On Wikipedia, it says upcoming films Lightyear and this year. And then next year, we got untitled My Little Pony movie. And then 2024, we got a dog movie. I don't know if this is like fake, but like this sounds fucking stupid.
My Little Pony.
Isn't that like owned by like a different studio? I'm confused.
My Little Pony, the movie, Disney Pixar film. What? No.
It's directed by Dan Scanlon.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. No, wait, that can't be.
What the fuck? It's our only movie coming out next year.
A different studio. That can't be real. There's just no way.
But back to what my favorite one is. I mean, the first 3 Toy Stories are in the cards. Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredibles, even Ratatouille and WALL-E, and also Up. And then there's also... I'm just kidding. I like Cars. I loved Cars as a kid. I haven't watched it in years, but I know it's not good. Well, the first one's fine. The first one's fine. Then they made like very bad sequels. Why aren't planes on here?
It's not Pixar.
It isn't?
No, it's Disney.
I think I saw the first Planes in like theaters, and like even as a kid, I was like,
so bad. Dude.
Where's the car? Cars 2 suck because the whole time I came for fucking Lightning McQueen, and like it was just Tow Mater the movie, and I was like, what the fuck is it? I never saw Cars 3 because like the teaser trailer for Cars 3 is actually legitimately really good. And then the movie itself did not follow up on anything that it advertised. So
yeah, no, Cars 3 is pretty suck. It's
like a Logan-styled Cars film, have Sam Raimi direct, full creative control. Watch the box office explode.
Watch the box office explode.
Make a Logan-style Morbius film.
About a gorgeous story about an aging Michael Morbius. Give Daniel Espinosa to direct. Give him full control. Watch the box office explode.
More $1 billion.
Honestly, it'd be better. Like it would be better if all it needs is better casting, better acting, better editing, better writing, better overall plot, better direction, better structure, better visual.
I see people defend it, and I get really mad. I'm trying to think of, like, my strongest memories of Pixar. Well, Finding Nemo is, like, ingrained in my brain. The first 3 Toy Stories is one of the best trilogies ever made, and even the 4th one. And that's, like, 4 movies that, like, all are, like, very good to like amazing quality, and they somehow managed that for like over 20 years with like 10 years in between each movie, which is very good.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. They clearly put a lot of care into all of them, even Toy Story 4, which a lot of people weren't really excited for because they didn't really see the point in like having it be made, but even then, like it was pretty impressive for what it was. There's clearly a lot of care there. And it ended up being a pretty decent animated movie as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was my least favorite of the 4, but like, I think part of that was it was more just like a swan song to Woody, and it just felt like all the other characters weren't as important.
Yeah, I kind of get that, I guess, because like that Toy Story 3 was like the end of that saga of the toys, but Woody, I guess they figured that his arc could have been given a better ending. At least that's how they went about the script. And it wasn't poorly executed at all. And like I do kind of like what they did with it. But it was still, it never really justifies its existence to me. Which if it truly did that and it truly took an like extra step and be like Toy Story 3 was, like Toy Story 3 was really impressive and they did a great job like being what it was. And then the 4th one is just like, yeah, it exists. I'm not upset by it. It's a decent movie, but
Yeah, and I remember after it came out, so there was like I kept seeing articles about Toy Story 5, and while I never want that to happen, Pixar's 4-0 now, so I have no reason to believe they couldn't make another one that's really good. But I don't know what you would do with Toy Story after 4. So
it seemed weird to like ever be expanded on in the first place. I think they just executed it really well each time. So
I guess Lightyear is kind of like like a spinoff of Toy Story. I'm not really sure what exactly. It's just like the toy backstory of Buzz Lightyear, isn't it? I believe.
It's like what I believe is like what it's supposed to be as of now is the guy that the toy is based on within the universe.
Yeah, like the fake, like like advertisements that he saw in the first movie or whatever.
Right.
And like what he thinks he is when he gets out of the box. He's a space ranger and whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's like a space ranger who like they base the toy on, and like within universe, so like the person that inspired the toy.
Yeah, it's just looking at this list. The first 12 of these movies were such fucking like I vividly remember them. I remember I saw Cars 2 in theaters with my grandma in like a really nice theater. It was like one of those theaters. I remember this theater because it was in her small town. It's one of those nice theaters that's like almost like an opera room, you know, like the fancy drapes and like fancy presentation and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like the ideal theater, and like it's like really like the red cushion seats and stuff, and like I saw Cars 2. I think I've seen two other movies in that theater, and they were the first Fantastic Beasts and Captain Marvel. So
That is not a good trio of films at all.
It is not.
It's really.
Yeah, I really like those theaters. I wish there was more of those around, but a lot of them closed down because they're like locally owned or something. Bug's Life. I remember that movie vividly. It's not good at all, but it was very enjoyable as a young child.
Yeah, A Bug's Life. I'd say it's definitely decent. Looking back, like it was just kind of like mostly okay, but it is really nostalgic for me. Like this and because Ants is that like DreamWorks movie, and they came out like the same year, like around like the same time, and it's like really weird because they're so similar. A Bug's Life is like definitely superior though. I always really enjoyed it when I was younger. Like the circus bugs and all that was always pretty fun. It's a pretty fun kids movie. It was definitely a step down from Toy Story though, because Toy Story was like an animated masterpiece, honestly. And we get A Bug's Life, which although still like decent. Definitely a big step down. It's just cool because they went back to Toy Story for their next film, Toy Story 2. And it was, again, really good. So,
yes, I agree. Also, I don't know if you're looking at the list, but it's really funny because like when they list all the directors and like story and screenplay and producers, it's like all these different people. But when I get to like the Incredibles movies, it just says Brad Bird for like 4 rows, and then it says like composer.
yeah, it's like Brad Bird, he like wrote, directed, and all that stuff.
He did the story, the screenplay, he directed, he produced. Monsters Inc. is really good.
Monsters Inc. is really good, actually.
I love like the title sequence, the opening music.
Oh, dude, it's so nostalgic.
The Mike and Sully are such a great like duo. Sully's little story with Boo was really good. Even the ending was so fucking emotional. I don't think there's a single flaw in Monsters Inc. from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, Monsters Inc. is very good. I mean, looking back, it's like, I think a lot of the reason why I love it is mostly nostalgia, but honestly, it's a really well-made film. It has a lot that's really unique, actually, and it was definitely really creative.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they never made like a sequel because I remember there was like a canceled one that sounded kind of interesting, where it was like they like tried to see Boo when she was older and like they got stuck in the human world, so it was like an inverse of the first movie.
Right.
So I thought that might have been interesting, but also like I don't know, Finding Dory was not good from what I heard. It doesn't seem like Pixar can make good sequels besides Toy Story. I mean, like Incredibles 2 is fine, but like it's not like I wouldn't say like Incredibles to Incredibles 2 is like Toy Story to Toy Story 2, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, definitely not. Yeah, outside of like I still think Incredibles 2 is decent, but like it's clearly a big step down. Where like Toy Story 2 is like a reasonable sequel. It's still actually good and it stands on its own like pretty well. So
Also, the whole backstory how that movie was made is hilarious because they had so little confidence in the movie that it was gonna be like a direct to DVD movie, and then like
Yeah,
when they finished it, they're like, "Holy shit, this is really good. Let's just put this in theaters." And then they almost deleted the whole movie like a week before it came out.
right. Like, it just lost the everything.
Yeah, like imagine if you did the restart because that took like years at that time because like the '90s.
Right.
They were like developing it for like 2 or 3 years, and like they just accidentally deleted a major studio. Jesus. Finding Nemo's really good. I really love the ocean, so I like this movie. I think the way that they like animate and like show stuff in this movie, like for kids, it's like it pops out very well, and it's like really unique. And even the story is pretty unique with the main three characters, and like each like obstacle or like little plot point, each one's like so distinct. You can just remember them so well. Like the anglerfish scene and like the whale scene and like the jellyfish scene, just like in the shark scene with Bruce. It's just they're all super memorable because they're all super like diverse and different. And it just makes the movie, I think, a lot better than. I haven't seen Finding Dory, but from what I've heard, that movie's like the complete opposite of what I just said. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot you haven't seen Finding Dory. But Finding Nemo, another one that's like such a big part of my childhood. It was so popular around that time. A lot of care put into it once again. It really uses its setting to like its fullest advantage, and it creates like a really compelling story through like what they actually set up, and it all actually feels really natural. That's what I really like about that movie. Um, and pretty much the like everything that they do like ocean related is interesting, and they actually stay consistent with it, which is really cool, and they keep a really good tone that can work for kids and adults, which is really nice. And then Finding Dory is like it's just it doesn't really strike that balance, and also like it's in an aquarium like SeaWorld type thing, and it's like, well, that's just it's just nowhere near as interesting. And then also the story is a lot more generic. Like I don't really dislike Finding Dory, but it's just kind of it's just so
I
mid.
didn't,
Especially for
I,
Benson.
like, I didn't know how you could continue that story, let alone like 13 years later. It just didn't seem like there's much you could tell. And like there was always jokes about it. It's like, what are you gonna do? Just find Nemo again? So
Yeah,
the only standout I
and
remember from that movie that people talked about a lot was the octopus character was pretty good. Uh, I don't remember his name. I just remember people said he was like actually pretty funny.
yeah, I mean, he was enjoyable.
Yeah, I remember there was like a whale shark character, and it was just whatever. And also like I really like Dory, but I guess Ellen's like apparently a terrible person, so it's just kind of like
Bro,
weird.
screw Ellen, bro. Ellen sucks.
Did you hear what she did? Apparently,
Uh,
she was like very
I,
verbally abusive to like her, what are they called, her assistants.
yeah, unlike her show and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then like she just like apologized once and then like changed it all. So that's just another reason to idolize celebrities.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Up, the beginning of Up is one of the saddest and most well done pieces of animation I think I've ever seen.
That was a pretty big jump to Up.
Yeah, I just like saw Up and I just remembered it. Also, Ratatouille, really good. I haven't watched it in forever. I just remember it a lot, and I kind of want to rewatch it, but it's just I don't. Is it on Disney Plus? It should be, but it's
Yeah.
Brad
Oh,
Bird
man.
directed that.
Ratatouille? Yeah.
Apparently, he did. I didn't know he directed Ratatouille. I thought he just directed the Incredibles movie. So that explains it. The way they
Yeah,
describe how food tastes. I remember that like scene where they did like when he's eating the food. Like it just like I could taste what they were showing me. It was so weird. Uh,
Oh yeah, like those were so well done. The animation and like the storytelling build up to that is so incredible. Brad Bird, I guess I will brief tangent. You know, do you know the films that he's directed?
yeah, he's directed like a Mission Impossible movie and like fucking
He
Incredibles.
directed Ghost Protocol, and there's like 5 feature films that he's written and directed, which are The Incredibles, Incredibles 2, and Ratatouille, the 3 Pixar films. The Iron Giant, which is one of the most beloved animated films ever made, and for good reason, because it's
What do you
absolutely
mean like fucking
incredible.
Tomorrowland?
And then
Which
Tomorrowland.
everybody liked. Everybody was super excited for it.
I remember being like, oh yeah, I mean, I'm pretty hyped for this movie starring George Clooney, the famous George Clooney, by Brad Bird. That's really cool. And that movie was like that, dude. It was not good at all.
Yeah, we don't have to talk too much about Incredibles, I guess, since we already talked about it. Uh, did you
Yeah.
like Brad Bird's Mission Impossible movie? I don't know. I know that's like one of people's favorites in that series.
Ghost Protocol.
Yeah. I don't know what your opinions on those movies are,
Yeah.
really.
Well, overall, as far as the Mission Impossible films go, I decently enjoy them. Ghost Protocol is decent. Um, I think as they go on, they kind of just they more play into the fact of how ridiculous they are, and they have more fun, and I really enjoy that. I think that they handle that really well. Um, some of like the earlier ones, especially like the second and third, they're just kind of like whatever. But I mean, Ghost Protocol I do enjoy. It's kind of weird that it's like a Brad Bird movie to me. So I'm always associated with like The Incredibles and Ratatouille. But yeah. And
I haven't.
one quick extra thought on Finding Nemo is Finding Nemo to Finding Dory and all that is like so like the animation is like really good, and with Finding Nemo they actually were told to change it because the water looked like too like realistic, like in the ocean and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
is a really cool thing to think about, and I think it's a testament to like how like well they really did that movie. And then with Finding Dory, it's just so much less diverse and it's bad. I don't like it anyway. And then Ratatouille, I love so much. I absolutely adore Ratatouille. Actually, that was my favorite movie when I was like 8 for a little while. That was the film I considered my favorite. Really good story, and it's presented extremely well. Just incredible execution all around. I absolutely adore that film. I want to rewatch it. I haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah, I just realized the same director of Finding Nemo made Finding Dory. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They failed. Also, the director of fucking Toy Story made Cars 1 and 2. How the fuck did you do that?
What?
The director of like the first 2 Toy Story movies made the first 2 Cars movies. Like, what?
Oh yeah, John Lasseter.
I know he was gonna make Toy Story 4, but apparently he was getting like Me Too'd at the time, so he just like left Toy Story. He just left the studio.
Yeah.
Which made me really concerned about the movie. They just brought some random guy called Josh Cooley, and then he somehow made a good movie. But you were talking about what, Ratatouille?
Yeah, I really enjoy Ratatouille.
I don't remember the plot too much in specific. I know like what it was, but like, I don't remember like the entire movie. I just remember like the movie. I also remember the food critic. He was a good character. I don't remember how that movie. I don't remember how that movie ended. Did they just the rat and the guy live together now? Was that how it ended?
Well, it was like the rat became like a chef at like a really high end like French restaurant, and then like it shows the critic going there to eat, and he tells the rat to surprise him, and then the rat goes to cook for him.
What happens to the guy?
What?
What happens to the cook guy? Doesn't he get the girl or whatever?
Yeah, he's like with the girl, and then like he's also part of the restaurant as like the waiter or something.
Good job, man, getting that puss.
Let's say he upgrades to waiter.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like with Stuart Little. It's like imagine you're like this high-end chef and like you're really trying to get in the industry and just a fucking rat beats you. And like being at an adoptions agency and the fucking couple picks a fucking mouse over you. I would just kill myself. And then of course we got Cars, which the first Cars was a big part of my childhood. I think I watched that movie like 1,000 times. It's not good. I just like the Cars. I like Lightning McQueen as a character. I thought he had a decent arc in the movie, and I liked the old car. I forgot what his name was.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. And like
And it's
overall,
Owen Wilson.
like
It's
it's a
Owen
weird
Wilson.
concept, but it's a weird concept, but at least they have fun with it. They don't like go crazy with it. It's just like, oh yeah, it's fun. Here's like things that like human things but designed for cars, and it works for kids. And overall, it's decent.
And it's just
It's nothing exceptional. A lot of people like to defend it when I talk about like critically, like objectively, the film itself isn't like amazing. And then they'll always get super angry because they liked it when they were a kid. And it's like, okay, yeah, like that's perfectly reasonable to enjoy it, especially like because of nostalgia. But like objectively, like the overall story is kind of generic, and it doesn't have like the most in depth and incredible like direction and structure. It's just like fine. And also the voice performances are like some are enjoyable, but they're most kind of annoying. So
yeah, I
but
didn't.
it's decent though.
Yeah, I didn't mind Tow Mater as a kid, but like he's just really annoying now. Larry the Cable Guy's a terrible, terrible talent. He's not a good actor. I don't know why he got roles.
Yeah, no.
He was like
No to Larry Gable.
he was in the fucking Tooth Fairy 2 or whatever.
Oh yeah, that masterpiece.
I never saw it, but I was like, the Rock one was like kind of like a stupid, really bad, funny movie as a kid when I was like 8. Why'd you make a sequel like 12 years later with a different guy? They did the same thing with Kindergarten Cop, which Kindergarten Cop's like it's like a sweet little Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that's kind of different than his other movies. It's nothing good, but like it's an enjoyable little movie he made. And then it just like made like a sequel like 20 years later with like a different actor, and I was like, why would I watch that? But yeah, yeah. The best thing about Cars was I actually really liked Lightning McQueen as a character, and then for some reason the sequels just did like the exact opposite of like everything that they had going for them in this first movie. Because like the second one focused on Tow Mater for some reason. Like fucking, I think Lightning McQueen might have been like in 10 minutes of that movie. And even when I saw it as a kid, I was like, I wanted the main character. I wanted the character that was on the poster to be in this movie. And then Cars 3 I haven't seen. For what I sounded like, they just like focused on this like random car he was mentoring. I was like, that's not what I want to see either. I want to see Lightning McQueen because it's his story. I don't go to Toy Story for fucking Mr. Potato Head. I go to Toy Story for Woody and Buzz. What are you doing? It's just stupid.
Yeah, Cars 3 I don't think was taken in the best direction.
Could have been fucking great because they advertised it as like a Logan type thing where like his one last ride or whatever, but they didn't do that.
I mean, it's like how he's getting older, and there's like a lot more like more advanced cars that are now dominating the scene, and that's an interesting direction to take it. But then like it's like, well, okay, and then they don't actually use it in very expressive and interesting ways, and the overall film is just generic again, like all the Cars movies to certain extents. And Cars 2 is just so stupid. It makes no sense. It completely destroys the story set up in the first for no good reason and replaces it with something that isn't even interesting at all. And it's not like distinct or diverse enough in like visuals to like continuously stay interesting. Like the animation is like pretty good as it is for like all Pixar films, but like how it's actually used in like Cars 2 and like Cars 3, it's clearly that they just seem much more lazy. And that's like the biggest sin they commit, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I know what happens in Cars 3 because I didn't care enough to watch it, but I think I saw like CinemaSins video on it or whatever. Like even the ending was so anticlimactic because I remember like they were like setting up Lightning McQueen to like win like his final race against like this super advanced new car, and then like he just taps out for some reason and lets his like recruit that hasn't done anything the entire movie just win it for him. And I was like, that's so anticlimactic. That's terrible. That's terrible. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Now you're never making Cars 4.
Thankfully.
I think they said they were going to do some fucking Cars spin-off show for Disney Plus, though, because that's what they're fucking doing all the time now.
Yeah. Well, we talked about Monsters Inc. a little bit, and like they did have that Monsters Inc. show that was technically a sequel.
Yeah, I never watched that. I was
In a
interested when
sense.
they announced it. Then I heard it was just whatever.
Yeah, it's just kind of a continuation where they just do like weird stuff, like with like the areas.
Because I genuinely liked Monsters University because I was still fairly young and like I enjoyed it because it was just like it was like a different environment in this world. Like I thought the college setting was kind of interesting. Like if you were gonna tell a prequel, like them like going through the ropes would have been it was interesting and it wasn't like terrible. It just wasn't really. It's not Monsters Inc. I think that's the main problem. It's just not Monsters Inc.
Right.
It's just also doesn't really prove that it needs to exist. Like I didn't need to see this. Like it's fine. And like now that I'm in college, I'm sure if I rewatch it, I'll like more parts of it. So maybe that'll add to it. But just on its own, it's whatever.
I mean, yeah, like it's got the same thing that a lot of Pixar movies do, which is like it has a like the premise and the overall like whether it's the setting or the overall idea, like that's fun, and they do that in some fun ways. They don't really integrate it into like a good story with like a lot of like the sequels and stuff like that, and it's just kind of becomes kind of bland. And Monsters University is like fun, but then it's just kind of bland in the end of it. Which I want movies to not be bland. That's why a movie like Wall-E was so impressive because that's the next one after Ratatouille was Wall-E, and like it's a flooring, stunning animated film that I adore.
It is fucking amazing. I haven't watched it in years, but like when I originally saw it, it's such a good movie. Also, it's like depiction of humanity like in the future is concerningly accurate as the years go on, and the thing with these Pixar movies is how they get you to relate to like well just the two movies surrounding Wall-E. It gets you to empathize with a literal rat, a literal trash robot, and old people, which are the hardest things to relate to. So
Yeah, those are the three hardest things to relate to.
yes. But they do it so well, and they made me like care so much for Wall-E. Like I don't remember if I cried at this movie, but I know I got like really fucking sad at some parts. And like
Yeah, Wall-E hits you really hard.
even the love story with him and the is it Evie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like Eve.
that was such a good because there was no speaking. It was just like the animation and like what the characters were doing that got you to like empathize with them, and like they did that really well. Also, he had like a little pet cockroach that was really cute. And the evil villain wasn't it like the AI that ran the ship, and that was. I remember there was like one scene where like he tortures like the AI tortures like the captain. And I was like fucking that was kind of scary as a kid. Even
Yeah,
had a very hopeful ending though. It was a very nice ending. It's a very nice movie. I remember when my stepdad moved in. He was like in his 30s, and he actually had not seen Wall-E. And my mom also in like her mid 30s was like, "You haven't seen Wall-E. You're sitting down and watching this right now." So I think a lot of people universally really like Wall-E. So
yeah, it can attach to really anybody, which is that's a great thing about a lot of Pixar films, like Toy Story, Ratatouille, The Incredibles, especially Wall-E. They can be loved and reasonably so by both adults and kids, and not like they're kids movies, but adults can still enjoy them.
yeah, because
which is really
even when I saw because I did see Toy Story 3 at theaters with my dad. And I remember even at the end of that, he said he got, because this is like a man in like his 40s, he still said he got teary-eyed by the end of Toy Story 3, which is one of the most sad endings, like I think ever. And
yeah.
the weirdest thing is my parents, they've seen the first two Toy Story movies, but they haven't seen the third one, and it's baffling. But
That is very weird.
my parents are weird, but they've seen Morbius, so it equals out. And then...
Oh yeah, so it's fine.
Also, they saw Venom. They didn't see Venom 2, but they saw Morbius. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck this is. Up is... The opening's amazing, and like the rest of the movie's also really good. I just forget about it a lot. Like the rest of the movie. It's a very unique story. The guy's literally just taking his house into the air, and like the scene where like they show him taking his house into the sky, it's really cool. And I love the ending where like he adopts the little Asian kid, and the dog. And I love the themes in the story because it's like, it's unique. It's about like because it's usually about the young person like finding redemption, but now it's like an older person finding redemption in his later years of life. Which the way they portrayed that was like very well written, and I liked that. And like how he faced his like childhood idol was cool, even though like when I think about it, it feels kind of contrived because it's like, how does he find his childhood hero just in the same exact?
That's the thing with Up is like you really have to forgive a lot of the convenience and all that, and it's just like,
and like his house as well. I don't know if that would actually work if you did that.
And it's completely unbelievable, and it's just like you have to question is like, like there's people like, are they gonna make theories that like actually he's just an old guy fantasizing all this?
I don't like that though.
What?
I don't like that though. If that's actually what it's just he's imagining it. That's just not.
Right. So it's just I don't know. It's really weird, but like a lot of what they do with it is really good. They have a really good direction with like that little Russell character, and like creating a lot of empathetic characters that are just really well handled. And the overall plot, it can be kind of messy, which is like its biggest fault, I'd say. But really, it's all handled pretty well, and it's really wholesome and enjoyable, and it'll really get to you. And like you said, like that like opening sequence where like we really quickly get attached to these two characters and their relationship. Then we can see the progression of how it goes along, and then we have to see like the extremely unfortunate like loss and heartbreak. It just shows Ellie
shows you like perfectly in 5 minutes like the like happy side of falling in love, and then like also like the sad inevitability of love, and like a really like a tight runtime of time.
Yeah, actually, it's really beautiful.
It's one of the best like examples of like genuine like love shown on screen. And I don't even think there was words. I don't think in that little scene.
No, it was like a song that was playing.
Yeah,
and then music.
It's so sad, and like the music they play in that scene. Also, the music in all these movies is pretty good. Some of them are whatever.
Yeah, they have pretty good music. I think Up is a really good score.
Yeah, and also they never made a sequel called Down, which is disappointing, but
no,
not really.
It's actually very good.
I'm glad that like Wall-E and Up have never gotten like a sequel. So, because you could have made a sequel to Up, because they do leave it off at a point where you could do more, but I'm glad they didn't. So,
yeah.
We already talked about Cars 2. It's terrible. Brave. I don't know. I don't really care enough about Brave. I think that's the thing about Brave. Just nobody cares about Brave. It's just it happened.
Right. I mean, like they were like the little boys when they became bears, and everyone's like, "Wow, that's so."
Was that
cute.
the plot? It was little boys turned into bears.
Yeah.
I still don't really know the plot of that movie because nobody talks about it. It's just like
the plot is that the mom gets turned into a bear, and then like the daughter, like the main character Merida, she's like Scottish and she could shoot arrows good. And there's the experience. The mom turns into a bear. She got to get the mom turned out of a bear, and then like the family's hunting the bear because they think the bear killed the mom, and it's all not good.
And then Inside Out, we kind of already talked about. I watched this in 7th grade. I remember because they played it at Brody for a class one day. I don't know why. I think that was the year I had like a teacher who was like, I could tell was slowly developing dementia and just was continually having the weirdest lesson plans, because this was like a history class and she played Inside Out, which has nothing to do with history. But literally, I watched it. It's so weird to think about because I watched this with Jordan Hernandez and Sean Rollins, and it was just it's weird to think about.
That is so
probably
odd.
Should have said their full names, but it's fine. But like I can remember now because I remember the whole movie. It was just Jordan just constantly making fun of Sean, and just like he made like a picture of like Sean hung on a noose, and I was like, thinking back on it, I was like, maybe I was watching Sean's mental sanity just slowly go down.
Maybe I did see that happen, actually.
Just trying to watch this animated film. Jordan's like, haha, that's you. You're Bing Bong, you fucking idiot. Fuck you. You stupid idiot. Kill yourself.
I have amazing memories of Inside Out.
Inside Out's a good.
So
It's solid. The best scene was that scene where the imaginary friend, like, it, like, shows how, like, probably an imaginary friend dies in your brain. It was just so sad.
Yeah, it was bad.
I didn't really care for the plot where it's like, oh, we gotta get back to, like, headquarters. It was just kind of whatever. But seeing, like, how they showed the brain work and, like, the emotions, well, it's completely not. It's completely just, like, for children and, like, fabricated. It's not, like, doesn't feel like a genuine adaptation. But I guess you could never do that. So it's just kind of whatever. It's unique. And, like, of course, there's not only 5 emotions in your head. There's that too. Also, I don't think you just have like 5 racks of your core memories and that's it. That's all your core memories you get. I do like the end though when it's like the teenage boy when they become teenagers and like she bumps into like the teenage boy and the teenage boy like he just fucking freaks out even though like they didn't even talk.
Yeah.
And like the dad and like the mom brains was kind of funny because like they just showed how a wife and husband are in real life where like the wife just says stuff and the guy's like football football.
I mean, yeah, they had a lot of fun with the concepts, and I remember like really enjoying it when I was younger. And then when I revisited it, I still like really enjoyed it as I got older.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in the theater with like my young niece and nephew, and like we all really enjoyed it, and it was really nice to see. That was 7 years ago now, which is crazy to think that maybe 7 years old. I remember being excited to go see it in the theater.
Yeah, I remember the trailers.
The marketing was everywhere for that movie, on all like kids like TV channels and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype for it. I didn't see the theaters because this is around the time like I saw them, but not in theaters. I saw Incredibles 2 and Toy Story 4 in theaters because it's nostalgia. But
right,
Inside Out, I don't remember the main girl's Riley. I think was her name.
yeah.
I heard like story where like I don't know she was like her brain was like being weird, so she just like ran away from her family. It was kind of just. It was just probably the least memorable part of the movie, but because wasn't the whole plot they were trying to like get back to the headquarters so they could like make her go back, something like that.
Well, because like she was getting like sad and she was losing her core memories, so they had to go back and like make her not sad.
That always happens. That's just like life. Like, why are you trying to stop that, bro?
Well, that's like the lesson that they learn is that like all the emotions are important.
Yeah.
And they create memory bubbles that are multiple emotions. Like she's like happy and sad, and then like it's like both, and they're like, oh, dude, that's so cool.
Don't they also like they kind of make a joke at the end, like the existential question where it's like if you have emotions, do those emotions have emotions?
Right.
Which is like really fucking weird to think about. But The Good Dinosaur I heard was pretty bad. Besides the animation, I heard the animation was great. But
okay, incredible animation. The rest of the movie is like mid to bad in every way. And then also a drone trip, which is pretty cool.
The brief story concept is fucking really cool. The movie's not, apparently, so the idea of like the asteroid missed the dinosaurs and like seeing what Earth would be like that's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
Just don't do anything that interesting with it. And we already kind of talked about Finding Dory and Cars 3.
Yeah, they had a long string of like sequels, like mostly in there.
I mean, Coco was good. It didn't really wow me because it just kind of felt like a lot of the other Pixar movies. Pixar kind of had a trend of like having a lot of these villains be like a twist villain, and it's just really like you can tell who the villain's gonna be.
Right.
Yeah, because I remember they did. I really loved Lotso in Toy Story 3. That was a really good villain.
Yeah, pretty well handled. Pretty good.
The whole final conflict with him, the whole final act of Toy Story 3 is really good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I remember the Coco. I remember the best scene was, I think it's when the kid and like the one skeleton he makes friends with or like in like the pit or whatever, and like they have a talk, I think, about that guy's like backstory or whatever.
Yeah, Coco's a really good movie. I
It
really
has
enjoy
good character
Coco.
moments. I just think the story is kind of lacking for me.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty good overall. There's really not much that wasn't done very well in that film.
I just say, yeah, I think
Um,
it was good. It wasn't really exceptional, so I just kind of forget about it.
yeah.
But I know a lot of Mexican communities and like Spanish communities love this movie, so that's good for them. Uh,
Yeah, I'd say it was good exposure, and honestly, like it's a pretty beautiful film. It's got some really intricate story elements, I think, and a lot to say about like culture and how it's expressed and like how it's treated, and like about death and all that. I really enjoyed Coco. I think it was really well done.
yeah, and we talked about Incredibles and Toy Story 4. Onward, I did not see because I just didn't look that good to me.
Yeah, Onward was such a weird like I didn't know it was a Pixar movie forever. I was like, wait, that's Pixar? Like that's happening? That's Pixar? And then like I eventually got around to seeing it, and I was like, oh, this is like the most like mid I've ever mided in Pixar.
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of these movies, when I heard the initial concept, it sounded interesting, like this weird mythical story with Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. But the trailers never interested me, so because it was about
Yeah,
like
like takes place on like another planet, and like a lot of that's like interesting and like decently cool, but then also it's just like, well, it was just kind of weird and whatever. And then the actual like story itself became a bit more generic than you would want it to be. So
yeah, because then it was also like about bringing back their dad, and I was just like whatever.
yeah,
And then I know Soul was actually good. I just never got around to seeing it. It
I
sounded
I really
interesting.
enjoyed Soul. I
It
remember
sounded
when they
interesting.
dropped Soul and I watched. I remember when they dropped Soul and I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it, but it had like some little things that were really annoying, like story wise, that like just didn't quite make it work. So it dragged it down a little bit, but Soul was actually a really good entry for the company.
Wait, the composers were fucking Nine Inch Nails? What?
What?
The composers of Soul, were they the guys Nine Inch Nails? Those guys?
Oh yeah, like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's so weird.
Yeah,
Didn't they get like an Oscar for that movie?
I think so.
Yeah,
Soul
because
was released. Soul
Soul
was released in
initially
2010.
sounded similar to like Inside Out, but it's just like your soul. I know it's not like Inside Out, but it sounded similar, so I just didn't end up checking it out. But
Yeah,
uh,
I'd say Soul was worth it. It's pretty good.
yeah, Luca looked really mid, so I didn't even
Yeah,
bother.
Luca was pretty mid. Beautiful animation. It looks really good, and it was cute. I know a lot of kids really enjoyed it, but overall, again, it was just kind of generic. It had a lot of like wacky, like just like Pixar, like crazy stuff happening, but not too much like in-depth story.
Wasn't it like
And
a
it takes place in Italy, which I love Italy and Italian stuff. But like it was just kind of
wasn't
like
it
the kids are like sea monsters and stuff. It was just kind of weird.
wasn't there like wasn't like the main like kids like weren't they supposed to be gay in the story or something? I thought it was like something about gay representation in this movie.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
not.
actually don't. I don't remember. I don't remember if something like that happened.
I just know lately they're just like
Was
doing
very
movies to
forgettable.
like.
That's like the main thing.
I just know they're doing a lot more movies now to just like to make movies for like these groups of people, which is great. It's just like they're like their entire basis of the movie is like focusing
Oh
on that
yeah, like
group, so it's just like not the stories can kind of feel lacking or like kind of rinse and repeat. So
yeah, they have to sacrifice like the most intricate parts of the story, which is harmful
yeah,
to
and
the
then
film.
Turning Red I didn't watch. It seemed kind of interesting though. I heard it was all right. Uh,
Yeah, Turning Red came out and it became decently popular, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was decent. It had some fun stuff to it. It had some weird stuff that just it didn't really feel too Pixar-y with some of those points. But overall, I enjoyed it a pretty good amount. It was fun, and it like had a bit more like it had a bit of like weirdly like mature themes. Like they talked about like periods and stuff. Like bro, like what?
they talked about periods.
Yeah,
What? That's so
yeah.
weird.
You would just you kind of just have to watch it. But it was somewhat interesting, and I definitely enjoyed a lot of what they did. But overall, it was a pretty decent, just animated movie for this year. It was one of the better films of the year so far, I'd say. Not a lot of trash this year, so. But yeah.
Yeah, this year's been kind of all over the place. I think it's gonna be looking up a little bit, though. I mean, Doctor Strange is coming out soon. I think we're both.
That is true.
I think we're both pretty excited for that. One thing I have to mention that's fucking pissing me off is fucking Sony, bro, because they fucking false advertised the No Way Home release because they said there's going to be 10 minutes of deleted scenes, and then they released all these Blu-rays, no deleted scenes. They lied. They lied in their marketing, and like they said there's gonna be like an extended Daredevil scene. There's gonna be like an extended 3 Spider-Man scene. There's gonna be like new clips that we haven't seen, and like they advertised this and they showed parts of it, and then it's just not in the release. And I don't know why they would do that because it's just this movie's already gonna sell. Why do you have to lie to me more?
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous.
Also, the Steelbook's cool, but like all the other releases, like the cover art is fucking garbage. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I mean,
Also, I don't know if you've been like seeing this, but like a lot of actors have been coming out just like talking about how bad method acting is, and I feel like all of it is an attack at Jared Leto, and it's really funny.
yeah, I know. I've seen all this like method acting stuff, and I was like, it's really funny that all this like right after Morbius starring Jared Leto, like extreme method actor releases.
Yeah. It's quite funny indeed.
What?
Quite funny indeed.
Oh yeah. Like I forgot what Robert Pattinson said, but his quote was like really funny.
Yeah, I know Mads Mikkelsen said like, what if you method act? What if the movie's shit? Then you just method acted shit.
Yeah, and like I think it might have been Robert Pattinson, but someone said something like, "Yeah, it seems like whenever people are method acting, they're trying to get into a role of an asshole. Like that's just what it seems like to me." So
Yeah, and then
yeah.
it's just funny because I don't know, Jared Leto's just not a good actor. At least on set, it seems like.
I mean, yeah, he's got good performances earlier on in his career, but like recently, it's just yeah.
For real. For shizzle nizzle. Is there anything else news related? I mean, this isn't really related. This isn't really related, but I guess it's kind of interesting. The fucking Johnny Depp court case actually started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's like day 2 of the trial or whatever, and like Amber Heard is like, it's like Johnny Depp's just winning completely, so that's good. That whole situation sucks. For Depp, if you've heard anything about that. You there?
You hear me now?
Yeah. Did you say something?
That's weird. Yeah, I was just saying that Johnny Depp's one of my favorite childhood actors. I really liked him when I was younger. Any movie with him, I'm interested in.
Yeah. Also, have you heard about these flash leaks for this movie? They sound so weird.
Like what?
Like what the movie, like apparently like the whole movie got leaked. And like it just sounds so weird.
Wait, really?
Yeah, like I guess apparently they're gonna like rewrite the whole timeline. And like the Snyderverse will still be canon. It'll just be like a universe that they put off to the side until they want to use it again. And then the new universe, like it's gonna be the Flash, but I guess General Zod from Man of Steel is actually gonna be like a villain in the Flash movie. Like they bringing back Michael Shannon. He's gonna be in the movie. And like in this new universe, I guess he killed Superman as like a baby, and then Supergirl is now the new Superman, and then somehow Michael Keaton's Batman is now just the main Batman. And I think Wonder Woman and Shazam show up in like a cameo or something, and like they travel through a bunch of different universes. Like I guess Multiverse of Madness is gonna do, like they'll have like a scene where they break through multiple universes, and apparently they're gonna show like the Adam West Batman universe, and like apparently there's a rumor they're gonna show the Robert Pattinson universe, which I hope doesn't happen.
I would be so upset if that happened. But what is the rest of this? Are you serious?
Yeah, so I guess in this new timeline, Henry Cavill just doesn't exist. Ben Affleck's just gone, and like Supergirl's there now. It sounds so stupid. And I don't know. So I guess the whole DCEU before the Flash is now put in a separate timeline, including like Peacemaker, since that has the regular Justice League in it, and then everything from Flash now is another universe.
What?
And my brain hurts if this is real.
What is the point?
And the main villain of the Flash is just going to be a different version of Ezra Miller, but it's not Reverse Flash. It's like they're just calling him Dark Flash or something. So they're not even doing the Flashpoint villain.
I don't.
Again,
I don't know.
you also have Ezra Miller's acting for like 2 hours. And
That sounds horrible. And also, like, they're trying to, like, get rid of him now because of his arrest and all that.
yeah, but like it's too late now to go back and just reshoot the whole movie. So it's just like they have to release the Flash as is probably. So then just after this point, not only do we have a whole new universe, but you just recast the Flash just randomly. It's just a fucking mess. I don't know why they just didn't give Snyder just money to just finish off his movies, because it would have made money, and then they could just do something new later. I don't know what they're doing. So
None of it seems to be, actually making sense to me. But then again, what do I know?
it's different than like this Doctor Strange movie, which it also kind of boggles my mind what all's like been rumored to like happen. But like it makes sense, and I think it'll be executed well. So, because there was the same thing with No Way Home. Like I was like, there's no way they're just gonna throw in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield in a Tom Holland's movie, but they did it, and it worked really well. So I have faith that the Doctor Strange movie is gonna do better with even more of that. But I have no reason to believe DC could handle any of that. It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because Marvel just hit and like they're just knocking out of the park. Because I know you haven't watched a recent episode of Moon Knight, which I watched it today. It was really good. About same quality as the last 2 episodes, which is good. It's a lot more story driven, not as much action, which I don't mind. And they are hinting at that there's a third personality like from the comics, so that's interesting.
That is good.
And Oscar Isaac's acting just continues to impress. There's even a scene in there, which you'll know when you watch it, whenever you watch it. But like, there's a scene where like you see his face, like you see his brilliant like physical acting, because you can tell like the moment he switches personalities in like a single like take.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I'm enjoying it week to week. Hopefully, you're able to keep up on it. If you're able to.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll have to get that figured out. I don't know what's up with the Disney Plus things, so we.
Also, they successfully do a shot where like Moon Knight jumps down to like a battle area, and like they do successfully do the thing where his cape does the crescent moon shape, and it didn't look too silly. I was kind of surprised. But your mom, and that's about all, folks. I'm just kidding. Is there anything else?
What? I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much all the Pixar films, at least a pretty good amount. Overall, I love Pixar. I've been following it for a long time. I was a kid. There were a lot of my favorite movies came from that studio, including The Incredibles, one of my all-time favorite films. So, but yeah, I mean, they were known for having a lot of home runs, but recently it hasn't quite as been much of the case. So we'll see what the future of the studio holds. I don't really.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from what their recent release schedule right now, I don't know what the My Little Pony movie is, but Lightyear, I'm interested. I don't. If it's not a good movie, it'll at least be different. So I'm interested in that. So I don't really know what they have planned because I think they used to have like a 5 or 6 year plan, and it doesn't seem like they have much of a plan right now. So
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know. I just remember like a few years ago, they like people knew like Up to Coco what was coming out in like 2016 or something.
Right. Yeah. Right now, Lightyear's coming out, and then there's 2 confirmed films that are untitled, and there's not much known about them yet. One for summer of 2023, and one for spring of 2024. So that's what we got for now.
That's fucking hype, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but no, we're covering next week. I mean, the only thing I know that comes out this week is Fantastic Beasts, but I don't really have any intention of seeing it, and I don't know if you do either.
See what?
The only thing I know that's coming out this weekend is Fantastic Beasts, but I don't really have any intention of seeing it. I don't know if you do either.
Not really. I might see it at some point. I don't know. I don't care too much. So
Yeah, so I guess if you end up getting caught up on Moon Knight, we can talk about that next week. If not, we'll just figure something out.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out. We'll have another great episode next week. So you guys be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and comment your thoughts.
Okay, I will do that. Just kidding, I won't.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird.
If you don't comment and subscribe, we'll actually take away all of your health insurance, and you'll have no coverage.
What?
You will.
I'm asking for financial support.
I am no longer asking. Anyways, you have a good day or night, folks. Pray for our health and safety, because it is always on the decline.
Exciting.
I'd like to live life dangerously. I just pump myself with insulin shots and hope for the best.
What?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
To infinity and your mom.